abuse, and often it's extremely difficult for people to talk about abuse. And this person had spoken. I was the first person that she'd spoken to. It was quite horrendous. Well, it was quite a difficult call, really, because another family member was involved, and up until that point hadn't admitted to it, and then this was causing all sorts of problems within the family, because it was like opening a can of worms, really. So it wasn't just her dealing with it, but other family members too. So that was quite a hard one, really. But again, when somebody tells you something for the first time, it's a bit of a privilege, really, that they've chosen a Samaritan to talk to. And again, we're just there to listen to what they've got to say.
The other call?
The other call was probably not so difficult, really. It was just somebody who's, again, suffering with, actually they were bipolar. And, you know, they've got support. They've got a community psychiatric nurse, or CPN as we call them. They have a psychiatrist. But they only see those people once a fortnight with the psychiatrist. It can be a much longer period, so we're there to fill that void. Often they phone when they just had an appointment, because they're either upset by something that's happened or been said, and they need to talk it through. So again, that was again a rewarding call.
There have been over 500,000 contacts made to the Leicester branch of Samaritans since it was formed in 1964. Some volunteers go into the county's prisons to train prisoners to become listeners.
Well, the Samaritan organisation is also involved in prisons. What we do in prisons, we train what we call listeners. The listeners act on behalf of Samaritans to contact other prisoners to make sure they're all right, because it is a very heavy risk of suicide within prisons. We do actually get calls from prisoners as well. When a suicide happens in a prison, then Samaritans automatically visit. That is their duty to do that, to make sure the listeners are all right and to ensure that the staff is all right as well. One of the most difficult calls I had, and it really sort of got to me. It was such a privilege taking it. What it was a gentleman whose daughter was terminally ill, and she was just getting worse and worse. And he just announced, he said, "I just want you to listen, I don't want you to do anything." And he said, "I have a daughter who's terminally ill, and she's getting worse, and I can't bear to see her in this pain any longer. I've decided when the time is right that I'll end her life. But then I'll end mine." And that gets you.
A call I had about a year and a half ago. A 17-year-old girl. She had cut her wrist. She was dying. She said she felt loved by her parents but not understood, and decided to end it all. Actually died on the phone. But the biggest memory to me was her final words: "If only I'd rung you sooner, maybe it wouldn't have ended like this."
How did you feel about that call?
It reinforced to me the need for us to get more and more volunteers to do more work in the community, spreading the word that it's good to talk about how we feel. It's not a sign of weakness.
Potential volunteers attend an initial informal meeting. Then they are invited to a selection day. If selected, there is then training, and only after this initial training has been completed can a new volunteer deal with callers. Volunteers do about 4 to 5 hour duties a month, which includes overnight duties.
What did you learn from the training above
what the Samaritans did, but lots of different techniques, and maybe not just for like Samaritans, but kind of like life skills as well. I think they're quite kind of important and make you aware of kind of things that people go through and that you might not have known. So give you awareness, I reckon.
What have you learned about yourself?
It's made me stronger. It's given me a different perspective in life. It's made me step out of myself and put others first. That's what it's done for me.
And what about the support that you receive from this place?
The support is tremendous. The volunteer care support is absolutely wonderful. Without it we couldn't exist. Without it we would just be nervous wrecks. So volunteers care for volunteers, and that's the most important thing of all. Calls are important, yes, but my fellow volunteers, they're having a difficult call, I'm there for them, and they are there for me. So
I joined the Samaritans because it intrigued me. I was really interested in what they did. I was intrigued because it was quite a secretive thing and you didn't really find out much about it. The only way you found out about it was to join.
It was something I'd been thinking about doing for quite a while, sort of something for the community. Yeah. And now that the children have got a bit older and they're not so demanding, I thought, right, this is the time that I can, do something now. And I get great pleasure in listening and just wanting to, I just love to help wherever I can, really. I get great pleasure out of that.
It is just a great opportunity to help people. I've always wanted to help people and make a difference to people's lives, and it's just a really good opportunity.
I joined basically because I worked at a retreat centre last year, and we were trained by local Samaritans that came in, and the training that they gave us, it kind of gave me an insight on what they did, and it kind of inspired me in a way to, if I ever had free time, to look into what the Samaritans did more, and I did that, and here I am.
I've been very fortunate in my life, and I just feel that it's time I gave something back. That's all, basically.
And what made you suddenly decide to join?
I lost a brother to suicide.
Did you?
So I'd always wanted to do it. And just came the right time in my life to do it.
We are not counsellors or therapists. We do not have magic wands to make a caller's pain go away. We endeavour to provide a crutch at a time of crisis by listening to everyday ordinary people like us who, for whatever reason, have hit an emotional brick wall. We also have non-listening volunteers who help with fundraising to meet the considerable running costs of the branch.
Yeah, I became a Samaritan 3 years ago. I'd just been through a rather nasty divorce at the time, and I was fortunate that I had some good friends that I could talk to, and I really realised the value of talking to people about your problems. A lot of people haven't got that, and I thought Samaritans had a good opportunity to provide a service.
Well, I joined because when I retired, I decided that I wanted to do something useful, and I thought about one of the big charities like Oxfam or Amnesty, but then also decided that I really wanted something that had direct contact with people. And I wanted to feel that I was being useful to individual people. And Samaritans seemed to fill the bill. I also knew one or two people who were Samaritans, and it just seemed a good way for me to go.
I'm interested in being of service to my community. I feel that in contemporary culture there are a lot of individuals out there in different situations, and I know from my own experience that it is easy, especially in cities, because I grew up in the city,